What's up, everybody? We are doing a third take. I'm actually doing this because I halfway through I forgot that I didn't even rank Amiris. And before starting this video, like the whole video, I forgot to add Fuka, so I had to add Fuka. Not this third take, but right before the video, I was like, okay, who's missing? I saw the internet SEES members, and I was like, oh, Fuka is missing. Bro, this is gonna be very controversial. This is Persona 3 FES SEES characters. No FMC, no character development in the movies or the portable, only the journey and the answer of FES. Everything from start to finish in the FES, what I think. This isn't official, obviously this is what I think. I'm gonna justify. If you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below. Let's start. Subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subs at the end of this year. We're gonna use Shuji. Shuji is 12th. Why Shuji below? I get what Atlas was trying to do with Shuji. They were trying to put him in the spot. I don't want to spoil P4 and P5, but Shuji was that guy. If you're trying to those who play P4, P5, those people understand what I'm trying to say. They're he's within our he's inside SEES, and then he's the villain. In my run, I was always calling him out being a villain, but the thing is, even if I was wrong, even if I had no proof or certain, I always felt oh, if Shuji turned out to be a villain, possibly maybe Shinjiro, but Akihiko and Mitsuru, Shuji is a parent to all of them, Akihiko and Mitsuru. I'd be sad for Mitsuru, and I'd be okay, yeah, because if Shuji turns out to villain, I want to see the character development with Mitsuru and Akihiko. But the thing was, what happens in you defeat the final shadow, the 12th shadow, next day comes, they're partying, dark hours here, and Shuji's ha ha ha, I'm villain, and I guess is bad now. And by the way, this will have spoilers. I should have said that. Should I do another take? No, I've done already. And then he goes oh my god, I'm a villain and stuff, and it's oh, okay, called it, but okay, let's wait. Let's see what the other members feel like it. And then Shuji's villain arc ends at the same night. It's what? I get what they were trying to do, but it didn't hit me. And what happened afterwards, I mean, and not you and not Meres, all of these guys were Koromaru didn't care. All of these guys were oh, he sucked. He's terrible. He's trash. And then only thing they were saying was, oh man, if he was alive, he would have told us what would happen. And Mitsuru was sad, but that was for another reason. And I'm gonna come back to her. But I just feel it didn't hit me. I was thinking of putting Koromaru last, but I'm gonna tell you why I put Koromaru 11. Koromaru in terms of story is not that much relevant in terms of the arcs, character arcs, but and he doesn't even get an awakening persona. I just noted that when I was ending FES, I was wait, Koromaru never awakened to his persona. Wait, what? The thing is, Koromaru works in one sense that Shinji is always motivated, but whenever these guys are down or one of them are down, they just look at Koromaru. Koromaru's confident, motivated, happy. They always look at Koromaru and they're we gotta be like Koromaru, man. Koromaru's literally so much stuff happens and Koromaru's still motivated. He's happy. He's raring to go. I just feel that's where I feel Koromaru being the bond, Koromaru being the motivator for everything, that just works for me. And that happens a lot in the story. Shuji, if his arc was a bit longer and Atlas would have been okay, more involved, Shuji is more involved to a point where you start liking him, I felt Shuji would have been really high. He could have been 4, 5, 6, or I don't think he could have been 1, 2, 3, maybe not even 4, but he could have here 5, 6, 7, 8. But he just didn't hit me. This just felt P5's reveal. I never liked Shuji's and P5's similar reveal. I just feel P5 did that better. I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just so aggro with him, but didn't feel like it. But Koro-chan I feel is at a nice position. Now this is where I was kind of thinking, but this one is tough. Okay, I'm gonna justify and then I'm gonna decide. First, let's talk about Meres. Meres is a different character because it was basically SEES members are thinking of her as an enemy, and Meres felt out of place. No, I just got what I need to say. Yeah, you're done. Let's talk about Ken. Ken is a kid who's mature and everything. His main storyline was with the whole Shinjiro and his mother's death. I feel like that was done well. But I feel like in terms of story, that was everything. And then after Shinji's death, his resolve, which honestly, Ken to a point is like, okay, he's a good character, but I never felt like, okay, he's a mature character who's also had like kid type personalities because he's a kid. He tries to act like an adult, everything like that. But after like the whole Shinji arc and like his resolve arc, I just feel like that's where it's like, okay, Ken is wrapping up. It's not like Ken is a bad character. It's just at that point, other characters had made way better development in my opinion. That's where I'm coming with Metis here. I just feel like that's what I thought. Metis in terms of like story. By the way, this is in terms of story, not gameplay. In terms of story, is honestly pretty, I would say, decent. The reason I want to keep her like above Ken, is because when I look at Metis is a character who just joined. In like literally, she's P5's Haru, but not Haru. Let me explain. She joined SEES members late when all of these characters have finally developed. Not you and not you. I mean, they aren't there. But like, and not even you, not Shuji. But like, I guess Mitsuru, every one of these, and even like Koromaru and Ken, all of these have developed. And all of these have their own personalities and they're like talking with each other, they're enjoying themselves. Metis feels out of place, and she is Aigis' other self. She is the emotional version of Aigis. So Metis just feels out of place. She's like, oh, like, I just don't fit in. And she loves Aigis because she's like other part of Aigis. She's like, I want to protect Aigis. But because she has no emotion for these guys, she doesn't care and is willing to kill any of these guys. And she tries it, and she fights them like in the Colosseum. She doesn't kills them, but she fights them. And Aigis is like, okay, if you want to be part of this, gotta act up. And Metis like is hiding, she's doing other stuff. And then when the reveal comes, it's like, I feel like it all sticks to places together. And I feel like Metis as a character that's why better than Ken, is because she's the emotional wreck of a child that works well in this story. That if they would have given it to Ken, I would have really liked it. But whatever happens, whatever emotions she like brings out always works in the story because she feels left out. That's where I feel like, I hope I'm trying to explain it right. That's where I feel like Metis is done really well. Next, I gotta add Akihiko. Akihiko, I feel like this is where Akihiko would have been above if it wasn't for the answer. First of all, let's talk about Akihiko. Akihiko comes out of the gate, he's like, oh my god. He's like, you know how like there's some characters, like he starts off and you think, oh, he's just like a Goku character, just fighting and fighting. And those characters work. I'm not saying those characters don't work. But later on, it's like Akihiko's like, you see in the background, he's like, Miki, his sister. And then you go on, he's like, okay, Shinji, you gotta join. Shinji's like, nah. And then later on, Aki's like, Ken Amada is joining. Shinji like, bet, I'm joining. And then you see Akihiko like Shinji together, and you're like, oh, best friends forever. Like, Aki's like the best here. And then Shinji dies. And you might think Aki would be the last one to get his resolve. But he's actually the first one. And he becomes such a mature character. He's like, all the characters doing that, like, around during that period, they're all like down. And Aki's like, listen, I'm not gonna force you guys, but you gotta man up. You gotta stand up. You gotta understand that what happened has happened. You gotta just, you can't let Shinji's death go, but you gotta be like, you know, motivated. Shinji didn't die for nothing. Akihiko became the resolve, and I just felt like this is where his like voice actor did really good. His character was done really well. Then we go to the answer. A lot of people talk bad about Yukari. Akihiko wasn't the best of the like everyone. He sucked for me in that. I'll tell you why. Ken I can understand was a kid, and I can understand Akihiko getting angry. But here's the thing. I can understand Akihiko like going, okay, we're gonna fight. The thing is, Akihiko should have like calmly first, maturely, like because he was mature in the journey that much, he should have acted in a way that, okay, now listen, we can't do that. And like he should like maybe twice or thrice be like that, and then he would have gotten mad. I would have liked. But it's like Akihiko's like, you can't change the past. That's it. He died. I don't want to lose my memories with him. His memories are too important. Talking about Makoto. Yukari's like, oh, you don't care. No. Yukari said that. And Akihiko like was like pissed off. I can understand Ken is a kid, but seriously, dude, why? Like, I can understand if Shinjiro was with him, he would have been pissed off as well, but come on, man. I feel like that's where I was like off by him. Next is, actually no, I actually spoiled it, but next is actually Fuka. Fuka's character arc is really good, her whole bullying arc, but I don't want to talk about her. I just felt like that was just a way to introduce her. That's not the reason I'm putting her at 7. I feel like that if that was the case, then like Ken would have been with her. Like, no. It's what I want to talk about later on in the journey and in the answer. Junpei, when he was down and got his resolve, Fuka was the one there to help. And you can see Fuka's, like if you go to the lounge, talk to her, you can see like Fuka, her friend moving away. That I didn't even care that much about that one. The thing I'm going to talk about is Fuka like trying to be the mature head. Like a lot of people don't talk about this. Out of all of these characters, Fuka is the most mature one, honestly. I know it sounds stupid, it sounds crazy, but out of all of these characters, I just think Fuka is the most mature one, and that's the reason I want to keep her here. Junpei was down, Fuka's like, okay, like Fuka motivates her and everything. The answer comes along, everybody's like, let's fight, and like Fuka's actually one of the maturest characters with Junpei. In the answer, Fuka's like, okay, I guess I believe you, here you can have my key. I just feel like that is where, like if Aki was more, I feel like patient and mature, I would have like actually done this. Like Aki could have been like here for me or here, but I just feel like they just did not do Akihiko justice in that moment. Next is Shinjiro Aragaki. Shinjiro as a character was good, but I feel like why I keep him here is after what happens after his death. A lot of people say that once a character dies, that's his story arc is, and I disagree. What he like leaves behind for his homies, for the SEES members, what Shinjiro leaves behind is a motivating factor. Some of these characters are like, should we end the dark arc? Because this is what fulfilling is to us. Some other characters have other doubts about the dark arc and everything. Except for Korma is the best. Shinjiro's death like changed all of their perspectives. To a point, they awakened their personas and they had a new resolve, a powerful resolve. Not everyone, most of them awakened their personas, but all of them had a new resolve. And I feel like what Shinjiro does is just his death created that, and that's where like, okay, that's why I'm keeping Shinjiro high. You can like talk me into doing this, but I feel like with what Shinjiro creates is like in the answer is there as well. These mature characters are mature because of what Shinjiro left behind. Till the end, why these characters are mature is because of Shinjiro. And let's just talk about the next character, Mitsuru. You could talk me into putting Shinjiro above, like you can talk me into doing this as well, or like put Mitsuru below. Mitsuru, I'm gonna say, was done really well in the answer and in the journey. Mitsuru, after losing her father, being so like down in the dumps and being so okay, she's like not motivated to anything, whole world change, and like after his father's death, she had to like go to like the company and like her father's property to her and everything, and then like what the whole Yukari, in which a lot of people say the lesbian talk between Yukari and Mitsuru, but like that talk, and then Mitsuru's like, thank you Takeba, and then that is something where Mitsuru just grows up and she's like, I'm gonna do what the Kirijo group, her starting off, because she starts to force or like not lie but like hide the truth and like add SEES members, and later on accepting her wrong, telling them the truth, and then Takeharu, her father was like, you gotta tell them the truth, and Mitsuru like growing up as a character, and Mitsuru going like after her father's death and then growing up again, and then in the answer When asked Mitsuru, like, why did she join Yukari even though her perspective might be way different than her, Mitsuru said one thing: Yukari helped me when I was in trouble, when I was in the dumps. That's why I helped Yukari. And honestly, out of these characters, this guy, and this gal, like getting mad and fighting, Mitsuru's felt like the most logical to me. Like, it's like, okay, I get it. Like, sure. Next, I gotta put in Junpei. This is where like the controversy began. I gotta actually put the other one because I feel like this is where the controversy would actually... Oh no, not Junpei, no. This is where the controversy actually begins. Let me just put Makoto in. People are gonna hate me so much for this. Okay. So, it's time to like... Because now I have to talk differently because MCs are done really differently than other characters in Persona games like Narukami, Joker, and now Makoto. Or Randigar, like in my run. But Makoto is like... So, okay. If you play the game, you can get what Makoto's character is. He's an emotionless guy. Everything happens, he's still running, he's still working hard. And I wouldn't want to say emotionless, but nothing affects him, like all of these guys said. And what Makoto did at the end, sealing Nyx and doing everything and like leaving the SEES members behind because he wanted to protect everyone. And then you go to Igor and then he's like, your social links give you power. Makoto being really strong. And then him like sealing Nyx, everything was done well. I feel like Makoto as a character is really well written. It's just I cannot... Now, these are the characters... Like, I feel like Makoto and above are where I can't point out the negatives. The only thing I could say is the reason Junpei is above, because I feel like Junpei is a better character than Makoto. Makoto, like, being the leader and then being the staple of everyone's to a point. In the answer, these guys fight because of Makoto, even though they even lost Shinji, which I even make fun of that Shinji in heaven is like screaming to a point, you didn't do that when I died. I feel like Makoto as a character did, like him as a protagonist is done really well. And because we're talking about the protagonist, now we got to talk about the social links. Him, like with Nozumi, everybody, his social links. With Akinari, you can tell like he's a very patient guy. He can sit and like he chats with everyone. His like connection with everyone, him with Ryoji and everything. He just, as a wild card, I really like him. But I'm gonna say this now. No. I was about to say he's the weakest of the main characters. No, I disagree. No. And 3, 4, 5, not Portable. Because Portable is not in this tier list. Is he the weakest? This is where I'm tough because is Joker... Narukami, I think, is really good. I think he's better than Makoto. I'm sorry. Maybe he's not. I don't think Joker is better than Makoto. No. But like Makoto as a character, like now let's like put the top 2 above. I feel like this is where I feel like, I guess nobody will question me, but Yukari is where I have to like justify myself. I don't need to justify the journey because I feel like people already agree that Yukari's character in the journey with his old father and everything, Ichiro Takeba and everything was done really well, and Yukari's resolve was done really well. Her helping Mitsuru, her hitting the Kyuger group, then liking Mitsuru, everything just flawless. Her looking into the fact that Mitsuru is like forcing everyone, hiding things, like getting to the bottom of this, done really well. Chef kiss. Now we come to the answer. I did not hate that Yukari fought SEES because Makoto died and she wanted to save Makoto. I forgot to do Junpei. Why did I forget to do Junpei? I actually forgot to do Junpei. I'll talk about Junpei later. But Yukari I never felt like that. I just looked at Yukari. I was like, I can understand. She was a bit aggressive. I get it. But her resolve to save Makoto, I understand. And when you see the truth of what Makoto did to save the world from Nyx, Yukari accepts that, and she's like, I can't go beyond. I can't go back and save Makoto because what he did would be meaningless. And I just realized I'm wearing headphones for no reason. Junpei. I put Yukari up because even though I love Junpei, I think Yukari did so much well in the journey. I think Yukari deserves to be in 2. Junpei is honestly one of the most well-written characters I've seen in Persona 3, 4, and 5. Him starting out to be this whole pervy guy, like gals and girls, like I want every girl, or like I want a girlfriend. Him being like this whole pervy guy, to a character that acts maturely, to him with Shidori, to a point where he was able to rise up the villain. But like he was like able to understand one of the stray guys, while others, none of these guys could. To a point after Shidori's death, Junpei matured. And then later on in the story, in the answer is the reason I'm putting. In the answer, I was about to say Fuka, but the most mature is Junpei. The only thing I don't understand is why were Koromaru and Junpei fighting when they didn't care. They were like, whoever wins gets the key. But Junpei being the most sound, reasonable character, I was like, I want to do this. But I feel like Yukari's development in the journey is done really well. Junpei in the answer, I was like, you're the best character, man. If it was just the answer, Junpei would have been higher than Yukari, not Aigis. Because I'm coming back to Aigis. Aigis is just done so well, I just can't. And I was just like, damn, like Junpei's like such a sound reasoning, like voice of reason. I'm like, okay, Junpei, you got my vote. Now, if you hear like background noise of a car, please forgive me, or a bike. Let's talk about number 1. I feel like this is where I don't need to justify a lot. Aigis in the journey is done really well. A robot, like she faces like emotions. She's like deciding, okay, now what should I do? And everybody's like, oh yeah, one more plus point for Junpei. Aigis is like, what should I do? What is my purpose? And Junpei's like, oh, we can't tell you that. You gotta find it yourself. Another plus point for Junpei. But in the journey, Aigis was fine. If the answer didn't exist, I would have done like, honestly should have been really down. I can't think. But like now that like the answer exists, she like getting depressed, and then she's like turning back into robots because she felt like this depression is wrong. I guess getting the powers of Makoto. I guess literally creating Metis, accepting her human form, becoming the most emotional human. Before the answer being attached to Makoto, when she sealed Ryoji or Nyx or death, whatever, inside Makoto, her like actually going after Makoto to save Makoto. I guess like I can like list so much. I guess in the whole answer became the sound reasoning, and finally the really great leader. I guess just does so much to a point where I feel like Atlas was just slurping on Aigis' character development in the answer. Like in the journey, she's really good. But then in the answer, like if I had to do this, like I know this is gonna sound weird. Add a row below, like I would do this. Like this is like if I had to like put it in like this is the difference I feel like in Aigis' character. And then number 2. This is like Aigis number 1, and this is like number 2. She's just done so well. Like now, people are gonna like tell me in the comments what you think. Like, do you like this list? Do you hate this list? Do you want me to, Persona 3 myself if people are gonna get mad? Again, this is my list. It's not official. This is just me. I hope I'm explaining things correctly because sometimes I'm really bad at it. But this is how the list is. Number 1 is S.E.E.S. Number 2 is Yukari. I can like actually now do like this. Like these are like in numbers. Let's just put these in numbers. Like let's just do like this so that people can actually see. Like some people like to put them in the end, so you can like let me like do this for those who, if someone like comes in and is like, okay, I'm gonna put it at the end. I feel like I could do, yeah. Should I just not put Shuji there? By the way, Shuji is a SEES member. I was thinking should I put him or not, but then I was like, oh, he's a SEES member because he literally was giving them information about everything. Even though that information was more beneficial to him, he still was a SEES member. Like I could like actually do this because, yeah, giving like I.E.S. space, because I.E.S. I think is done really well. Is this, my list is correct? Yeah, this is how I want to put this. So tell me, what do you guys think, and do you want me to do these videos like this in the future with other Persona games? And tell me which Persona game you want me to do this. The only games I played are 3, 4, and 5, so not portable, 3 FES, 4 golden, 5 and not royal. Not royal. So tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Is this the correct tier list? What changes would you make? Tell me in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subs, so just subscribe, please. Why? If you hear background noise, my mic isn't that good, but please forgive me. Please, boom, boom, boom.